As countries across the globe commemorate World Day Against Trafficking in Persons, experts in Nigeria are calling for more collaboration to rehabilitate and reintegrate victims of trafficking back into society. That's because the United Nations says Nigeria is one of the leading African countries in human trafficking, most of them women and children. Our correspondent Phil Ihaza reports from Abuja.
Patricia Cletus, not her real name, was trafficked out of Nigeria in 2003. She managed to escape and return home. Since then, Patricia says she has been improving her life and even canvassing for other returnees to settle in easily.
I started learning how to sew. After learning how to sew, I now learn how to barb. So now I can barb and I can sew. So I just want to advise those ladies out there that if you are one of the victims like me, your hope is not lost. You can learn, you can also be like me.
At this center run by an NGO, the Society for the Reconciliation of Distressed Nigerians in Diaspora, people like Patricia are taught new skills, empowered and encouraged to start life afresh. The total number of human trafficking victims is largely unknown, but the United Nations estimates that about 1 million persons are trafficked annually in Nigeria. Less than 5% are trafficked outside the country, the rest are trafficked within. It is the third most common crime in Nigeria after drug trafficking and economic fraud, and experts say the root causes are enormous.
It's this issue of poverty. I must mention greed among personnel and then lack of patriotism, because we tend to equate ourselves with what other persons are doing. And there's of course the social problem, unemployment, lack of proper education. The kind of education we have here, the type that after that is go and start looking for a job instead of employing people. And then the wars, here and there people are being displaced, thereby giving opportunity to human traffickers to go and pinch, take the people away for trading.
Nigeria's anti-trafficking body, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, says it has rescued over 15,000 victims of human trafficking and rehabilitated about half that number.
In order to see more returnees reintegrated and contribute more to the society and the economy, experts here say more of these initiatives will need to take place across the country. They say in the long run, it could help stop or reduce the burden of trafficking to the barest minimum.
And it's a challenge that requires more collaboration and partnerships.
I think the agencies in Nigeria should also relate well with the NGOs so that we can all fight this together. Human trafficking is a global issue and it should not be left to one individual or even to one government. It's an international thing, and cross-border crimes is not what one country can hold. So we need that global collaboration.
It's something the government says it's working on. NAPTIP has pledged to deepen partnership with the UN Office on Drugs and Crimes, the International Organization for Migration, and the country's security agencies to fight trafficking and rehabilitate trafficked persons like Patricia across the country. Phil Ihaza, CGTN, Abuja.
Right, let's get more on that. We're now joined by Che Sidanius, who is the Global Head of Financial Crime and Industry Affairs and a member of the Coalition to Fight Financial Crime at Refinitiv, based in London. Che, how important is this day for survivors of human trafficking?
Good afternoon, and thank you very much for the invitation. I think today is incredibly important for us to recognize that unfortunately, modern-day slavery and human trafficking is more prevalent now than it ever has been, and the profits and illicit proceeds from this horrible activity is estimated to be about $150 billion a year. And a day of today, beyond those numbers and statistics, is really remembering the victims themselves, most of whom many know are women and children. And so this is a day really to listen to those victims, for us to understand, the impact that it has, the devastating impact that it has on their families and their lives. And one example, as a company, so we're a risk intelligence data provider to most banks, most law enforcement, and we're big believers on collaboration and information sharing. And yesterday, we announced a partnership with the South African Anti-Money Laundering Integrated Task Force, which is a public-private information sharing partnerships along with the South African government and banks and many companies in the region.